Gotta be connected with The Zone. Follow us on Twitter or Instagram at The Zone 1150. Like us on Facebook at The Zone 1150. Programming alerts, prize updates, scores from games all across Bryan Broadcasting, contest news, and more. Connect with us and always be in the know. Can't remember what team is playing on what station? When are they giving away what? And when is the coach on the show? Follow us on Twitter or Instagram at Zone 1150. And be sure to like us on Facebook at Zone 1150. And always be in the know. Summer just got fun again. Bombers baseball is back for the 17th season at Edible Field in Bryan. So much fun with the largest kid zone in North America. Bombers baseball. Non-stop excitement and family entertainment. Bombers baseball. From thrilling home runs to hilarious mascots, you don't want to miss a single inning. Bombers baseball. So grab your peanuts and Cracker Jacks and come join us at the ballpark. Get your tickets now and save online at bbbombers.com. That's bbbombers.com. Play ball!
Summer heat's tough on cars and trucks, which means you need to pay close attention to your service schedule. And there's no better place than SevCheck Service Center to get that work done. Since 1972, the SevCheck family's been taking care of your automotive needs. Whether it's regular maintenance or an emergency, you can bet SevChecks will get the work done right in a timely fashion. Open 7 to 6, Monday through Friday, Saturday 7 to 4, SevCheck Service Center, 2200 Longmire, just down from the post office in College Station.
1, 2. I'm in love with a man named Rudy. I'm okay with that. He knows exactly what I want. He keeps me coming back. Cooks breakfast, lunch, and dinner for me. Does the dishes too. I'm in love with a man named Rudy. Last name Barbecue. It sure is easy to fall in love with Rudy's tasty oak smoked barbecue.
Next in line.
Get your groove on for the Peace, Love, and Giving Gala as you travel back to the 60s to celebrate Twin City Mission's 60th anniversary, Saturday, August 12th. Enjoy a far-out night as you move and groove to Emerald City's downtown fever while enjoying an out-of-this-world meal. There will be a Good Vibes raffle, live auction, and more. Support and celebrate this one-time event of Twin City Mission's 60 years in the Brazos Valley, Saturday, August 12th at the Brazos County Expo. Tickets and information at twincitymission.org. twincitymission.org.
Celebrate the history of our national pastime at the National Baseball Hall of Fame and Museum in Cooperstown. See priceless treasures that'll bring your baseball memories to life. Connect with events that have shaped and changed the game and our country. Our stories to tell, your memories to share. Plan your visit today at baseballhall.org.
To find the complete list of prize contest rules for the Zone 1150 and 93.7 FM, visit zone1150.com. This is KZNE College Station Bryan.
From WTAW, I'm Chelsea Reber with a news update on the Zone. East of downtown Bryan Monday morning, just before 5 a.m., Bryan police respond to a citizen's report of 3 people attempting to break into vehicles. That led to the arrest of 2 16-year-olds and a 17-year-old on multiple charges. All 3 were charged with 5 vehicle burglaries, 7 attempted burglaries, unlawful carrying of weapons, evading officers, and violating parole. A 32-year-old College Station man is in the Brazos County Jail for the 5th time in the last 6 weeks and the 16th time since December 2008. That's after College Station police responded Sunday morning at 9:30 to a report of a vehicle that was parked the wrong way and the driver slumped over the wheel. Marcus Gomez was arrested after leading officers on a foot chase through the intersection of Texas and Holloman on charges of evading and possession of methamphetamine. Is your company willing to hire persons with a criminal record?
A person is really just looking for a chance.
Nathan Wood is the chief public defender at the newly created Brazos County Public Defender's Office. He says they're looking to establish a list of employers willing to hire their clients if they would otherwise qualify for the job.
Because a lot of the time, what pushes repeat offenders toward that recidivism to offend again is a sense of hopelessness for their future, a sense of lack of opportunity for to meet their immediate needs and the immediate needs of their family.
Wood invites interested companies to call the Public Defender's Office. A state honor is given to a more than 25-year employee at the Bryan College Station Chamber of Commerce. Royce Hickman is this year's recipient of the Texas Chamber of Commerce Executives Award for Career Accomplishments. Hickman is in his 7th year as the BCS Chamber's community liaison. That follows more than 19 years as Chamber President and CEO. From the BCS Chamber's LinkedIn page, the Marvin Hurley Award is the highest honor of the Texas Chamber industry. I'm Chelsea Reber on The Zone.
Summer is here at Big Shots Golf. Come play at Big Shots Golf for only $10 per person during the week. That's right, only $10 a person per hour, and players 5 and 6 are free. Tee it up in our climate-controlled tee boxes and enjoy virtual golf games and next-level menu items like our wings and burgers. Even better, the fun continues at Big Shots Golf with our popular trivia nights, karaoke nights, and more. So get your game on, and we'll see you at Big Shots Golf Aggieland. Visit BigShotsGolf.com for more info.
Are you feeling run down, sluggish, having difficulty losing weight? You could have low testosterone. It's common. In fact, about 40% of men have low T after age 40. Apex Health in College Station is here to restore your energy, sharpen your focus, and boost your performance. Women can also benefit from testosterone replacement therapy. For a limited time at Apex Health, get your T-test for just $35. Get your edge back with a personalized health plan from Apex Health. Schedule your free consultation today at apexhealthclinic.com.
Hi, this is Kelly Adams with Girard Construction, custom home builders for the Brazos Valley since 2002. We love to help our clients take their vision and build it into reality. Our local team is hands-on and will work with you step by step, from planning and budgeting to choosing finishes and handing you the keys. All of our subcontractors are local, and most have been with us for 10 years or more. At Girard Construction, we don't just build homes, we build relationships. Let's build your dream home together. Visit us at girard-construction.com.
I'm Sean Burnett with your Aggie Sports Minute on The Zone. This update is brought to you by Hilco Metal Roofing and Supply. Call 936-825-0500 or click hillcosupply.com. Texas A&M football got a huge commitment yesterday as Phoenix City Central 5-star wide receiver Cameron Coleman announced he'll be coming to Texas A&M. Coleman is 6'3", 180 pounds, and has a combination of both size and athletic ability. The Aggies won out on him over Auburn, LSU, Clemson, and Florida State. He's the 16th commit of the 2024 group, and the Aggies now have DeBron Gatling, Jalen Hornsby, Draylon Miller, and Eric Carner lined up as future wide receivers. Aggie softball got good news this week as they picked up Pac-12 All-Freshman and NFCA West All-Region first-teamer Kennedy Powell. Powell spent her first season at UCLA. She was the 6th overall recruit in the nation coming out of high school. She hit .374 last season with 21 RBIs. And that's your Aggie Sports Minute, brought to you by Hilco Metal Roofing and Supply. On The Zone, I'm Sean Burnett.
Hi, popular sports talk host Chip Howard, reminding you it's July, and that means I'm gone. Someone will be back on the air July 6th, but until then, enjoy the Independence Day holidays and be sure to patronize my sponsors like Superior Air Repair, Texas Grill Supply, Hen House Awards, and Decker Financial. I'll be back in time for football season with lots of great stories about my fabulous vacation. Remember, weekdays 4 to 6 right here on The Zone.
If I'm going to do this, I'll need my news team at my side.
News team, assemble!
Howdy, Aggieland. Welcome to the SEC.
Our program will be built on 4 principles in which I talk about all the time: toughness, effort, discipline, and pride.
Dang it! I'm going to have to buy that boy cream cone.
Now I'm distracted on my point. What were you talking about?
It's bull crap. All I care about is winning. Show me the dang baby.
You do it till they do it right, and then you do it till they can't do it wrong.
Go get him! Why are you dancing around? Eat him like he's a steak.
He fits what TexAgs radio is about. He fits into what the listeners are going to want. He's a pro on every level.
It's Nuño and the crew on TexAgs Radio. Right here on Sports Radio 1150 AM and 93.7 FM. The Zone.
Hey, records on my demo. Did y'all boys not get the memo?
Can we get some DJ Khaled on? OB, what is DJ Khaled known for?
Being a DJ?
Have you ever heard the term, and another one?
I've heard that. I don't think I...
Another one. Like that? No?
No.
Does nothing for you?
Nothing.
Luke, are you familiar with another one?
Another one.
That's A&M got another one.
Oh, okay. Another
See what I'm
one.
doing
Yeah,
there?
they're getting a bunch of them.
It's like I used to have the joke that I would go to Oprah, right? Oprah,
One
you
for
get a
you.
car, you get a
Yeah.
car, you get a recruit, you get a. Well, now it's another one.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I like that.
Can you give me a DJ Khaled another one?
Another one.
I like it. It's TexAgs Radio here, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers in the Rollo Insurance Studio. The Go Hour presented by the Warehouse at CC Creations. Today is Wednesday, July. Where did the year go? July 5th, 2023.
July 5th.
Dude, we're leaving like soon.
In
Nashville.
a little more than a week.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my
What,
gosh.
a week from Sunday?
A week from Sunday.
Yeah. And to me, that's when football season kind of.
That's where it really begins.
It's the doorstep of football season.
Well, I mean, it's great to we talk football all year long, right?
Yeah.
But there's an intensity. There's news. The rivalries. I mean, I am assuming we're going to see. I'm sure they were there last year. We're going to see some Texas and Oklahoma folks there.
Oh, I know Kurt Bowles is going to be there for
Kurt. Yeah. Who's always nice. So we don't have a rivalry with him.
I do.
No, that's your guy. That's your mentor.
He's my grandfather.
Well,
he's
but
the
you're older than
grandfather-like mentor. And no, I'm not old. No one's older than Kurt.
I'm kidding. But yeah, Cam Coleman. So like, I don't want to compare this to the big recruiting class, right? The greatest one of all time. But there was a little stretch during the 22s that it was like they got another one today, and they got another one tomorrow, and they got another one.
Yeah.
And then that's what these last 10 to 11 days have felt like.
Crazy. I just wonder what's going through Brady Quinn's mind. You might remember this time last year, he was, see, A&M can't recruit because without this or that.
But what I don't understand, and I'm being dead honest here, why they go to the lowest common denominator. Why, when A&M gets to recruit, it has to be about money. When this program has recruited at a high level before NIL for a long time. I don't understand that.
I've said it a million times.
It hurts our feelings?
It's the caste system of college football, and the national media buys into it. You're not supposed to be good. You're not supposed to recruit at a high level. You're supposed to recruit your recruiting classes are supposed to come out between 25 to 15.
Yep.
And you're supposed to aspire, understand you're going to win 7 or 8 games a year, sometimes a little more, sometimes a little less.
They got 1 5-star in this class right now, which is
the guy they just got.
Cam Coleman. Right? So it's not like they've got 13 5-stars here in the last they've gotten, to me, I don't really care about the stars. I just want to see some players. They've gotten 4 stars, 4 stars, 4 stars, 5-star yesterday, 4 stars, 4 stars. It's to me, it is looking like a Jimbo class that we expect, the top 10-esque class that he's given Texas A&M pretty much every year. Pretty much, not every year.
Yeah. I think the first year didn't really count because it was the first year that signing day was in December.
Mm-hmm.
So that and I think that ended up 17. Last year was, look, they played poorly, and that turned off some guys.
Yep.
So what you need to do is you need to keep recruiting well, but you also need to start winning. Imagine with all that A&M has to offer right now, and all the things they're building and all this, put a 10-11 win season with that. You might see some interesting flips coming in.
You might
see
way. The old flipperoo.
Yeah. You might see some guys transfer in.
I'd like that. You know what it says to me more than anything?
What does it say?
Recently, been a lot. We've gotten some linebackers, but some athletes, some wide receivers, and some athletes. Right? People believe in what they're cooking up across the street offensively. They're not buying into they're just going to run the ball and they're going to score 21 points. They must believe they're going to get the ball. If multiple guys are like, all right, let's try this out.
Well, I do think the addition of Bobby Petrino is going to pique someone's interest and imagination, right?
Yep.
Because you know what Bobby Petrino's done over the history, and kids don't know that, but they're being told. You would have to really look long and hard to find a better receiving class. Of course, they're all on the line. They're not in the boat until December, but
it feels good right now.
It feels good.
I'm going to like my wins.
First chance of catching it first step in catching that marlin is to get him on the line. Now you got to boat him.
There are too many people that don't enjoy the moment. They look forward to the train wreck, right? Well, I know we're going to lose somebody. Or, until it's over, I don't believe. You know what? No. Let's love the momentum because the momentum is part of the reason you've gotten these guys.
Well, I think it's good to love the momentum. I think you feel great about getting the commitment. It is exciting, but you do have to be aware that the job's not over.
Of course, but we're not doing the job. It's across the street. They're doing the job. Our job is to support, and when it's time to be critical, be critical. Right now, it's a time not to be critical.
No, there's nothing to be critical. I'm just saying that they gotta close the deal.
Yep, that is a fact. There's been big names before, especially at the linebacker spot, a couple years in a row where you're like, we got him, we don't got him, we don't have him. But as of today, like I lost count with the math. Luke, do you know how many guys it's been over the last 2 weeks? Is it 10 guys? 11
yeah,
guys?
I think it's 10 in the last 14 days.
Yeah, I know. Jason Howe said something about that's about right. So, I mean that's incredible momentum.
Mm-hmm.
That's coming from a 10-yard deficit and blowing by the leader kind of momentum. So hopefully they'll keep that going.
Yeah. Let's go or check in with everybody. If you want to be a part of the conversation, I was going to talk about the Astros, but I didn't think that was right to do it right now. I didn't think it was. They just had a nice series over the Rangers. I didn't want to bring it up.
You mean that team that's 3 games back in second place?
That team that's playing without a lot of their stars and players and just took 3
I
or
think
4.
at the end they don't care who plays. It's how many games have you won.
Yeah, I know. And they've won 2 World Series. All right, so A and B text line.
Now, did you go to Texas? Because you sure are living in the past. You must be living with that Longhorn that you're married to. It makes you start living in the past.
Remind me, when did Texas win a championship? 2005, long time ago. And when did the Astros win? Not even a year ago?
I'm just saying I don't live in the past.
Oh, so you're living in the future.
I live in the present with an eye on the future.
I know. And realizing the Astros are getting closer and
They
closer.
are. They are. I'll give them that.
Hey, I honestly think the Rangers light blue teal uniforms are awesome.
You like the?
I do like
the powder blue.
Yeah, powder blue. Excuse me.
Yeah, that's old time. That's like 1972 Rangers.
And I know I'm not allowed to as a Houstonian. I like the Rangers. I don't have a problem with the Rangers. I want the Astros to win.
I don't have a problem with the Astros. I have a problem with the Astros fans.
There's yes, especially on social media.
Because I even took up for the Astros with the whole cheating thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, baseball is cheated throughout history and some have been glorified for it. Gaylord Perry.
Yeah.
So, did they take away all the records of Barry Bonds? Does his record still count?
I think they count.
Yeah,
I think but people don't really call him the home run king. They still call Hammer and Hank.
If I look on the record book, where am I going to find?
You're gonna see
Barry
Barry.
Bonds?
Is it how many home runs is it? 780 something?
I lost count. But the point is, baseball glorifies cheating. They don't care if you're smart enough to pull it off. They do. And I never understood why it became such an issue, especially when you found out other teams were doing other things. So I always took up for the Astros on that. It's the Astros fans that I have an issue with.
Well,
or it's actually, I think it's all Houston fans. Well, we've talked about that before.
Yeah, well, I think there's an arrogance with Dallas fans too, and as a Dallas Mavericks fan, I can admit it. There's a little. By the way, I didn't read the article, but I want to ask you at the end of the hour. I don't want to do it now because we need to keep it to A&M. Who's closer to winning, Luka or Dak? And I think it's obvious, but is it obvious? So we'll think about that for the 850 spot. All right.
Okay.
All right. Let's check in with our baseball historian, Nick Savage, who wants us to talk about the Astros. I'm sure. Nick.
Not really. I mean, I am wearing an Astros shirt. That's kind of funny. But no, I mean, Altuve looks like he's hurt again. So, again, I'm starting to worry more and more. But they somehow keep winning. So, we'll see how it all shakes out at the trade deadline. That'll really, I think, shape up the Astros season. But
yeah, Rangers could use a bat and a relief pitcher.
Yeah,
hey,
bullpen.
For those who think the Rangers are going to just be the Rangers the last couple of years, no, this team is for real. They got 6 All-Stars.
No, I think they're going to fade.
You do? Really?
Yes, I do.
I don't. I mean,
I've followed that team my whole life. Of course they're going to fade.
You don't think they're a playoff team?
They might
OB, I actually think they're going to win the division, and the Astros are going to be a wild card team just because they've had so many injuries. The Astros have, but I could see a scenario where
don't they say, look who has a good record. Look at the records of one-run games, and that's going to tell you who's going to end up winning. And the Rangers are awful in one-run games.
And I don't know their schedule well enough, but somebody tweeted, and I think it was an Astros fan, that if you look at most of the Rangers' wins, it's against some of the lower tier teams. I don't know if that's true or not. I don't watch enough. I know they're playing great baseball.
Either way, it doesn't matter. I mean, Astros they changed the schedule this year to where every team plays every team. So I don't think that's fair to knock them.
Yeah. Says the guy whose team just beat the Colorado Rockies.
And the first place Rangers. Go ahead, Nick.
First place.
Well, no more baseball talk. I watched the Dat Win documentary yesterday.
Oh, so good.
It was awesome. Yeah, it was really good. It really put into perspective his career, because we kind of mentioned it that last week, how some of us in the office weren't old enough to really appreciate it, and it did a great job of showing how he stepped in when he got his chance and never looked back, and it was really good. I really highly recommend watching that.
So it took me back to some emotions, like going back to that Big 12 championship game and just the navigation of those first few years that I was at Texas A&M with Dat here. And what I liked about the whole thing is I got to watch it with my kids, right? Because they didn't know Dat's story. Like, Dad, is he like a Hall of Fame kind of guy? It's like, yeah. Is he like top 5 Aggie football players? Yeah. Oh, yeah. He's all that. He goes, do you have his phone number, Dad? I was like, yeah, I do. And they're amazed that I know somebody on TV, even though I've done this my entire career. But they're like, you actually know him, Dad? I wouldn't say know him, but I know him.
Yeah, that's always cool. I think my son was most impressed with me when he found out I knew Drew Brees, right?
Right.
Now, if you said, does Drew Brees know me? Maybe. Maybe.
Back then he did.
So, yeah, that's pretty cool. And Dad, look, when I saw it, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I didn't see anything on there that I didn't know, but that's okay, because I have been. I lived it, right? Yeah. I lived through it and read the articles, right? But gosh, to watch it with like you said, your kids are interested in it and finding out about his story, which was amazing, and we all know it, but. Not only is it's an amazing story about an amazing football player who's an amazing guy.
Yeah. My interview with him last week might have been my favorite here at TexAgs. I mean, we went super long on it just because he gave thoughtful answers. Not that a lot of guys do. I mean, we get really good interviews on this show, but he gave some thoughtful answers. He went, he went, I would say, long on his answers too. Not like long, like repeating himself, like just giving really good, thorough answers, genuine. I thoroughly enjoyed that.
He's a good guy. Makes me want to run down to Rockport and go have some food at Who Dat.
Who Dat? Hey, let's do this. Let's hit a break. I know we got to go to Luke. We'll do that when we come back. Plus, we'll do the Apex Performance of the Week. I got a name or I got a situation to put out there. I'm sure you got something too, OB. No?
I haven't really thought about it. Sternberger,
Well, you could do that. I mean, I put Luke's name by it on the rundown, but you can do it.
Okay. I'll leave it for Luke.
Okay. Just think of something. You know what name we could put on it every week? You know what name we could put on it every week.
Well, what name you want to put on it every week?
Si tienes hambre, vamos a poner...
Fargos.
There we go. If you're hungry.
In any language.
In any language.
In any language, it's great food.
I wonder if people are listening to the show like, is that a Latin cuisine? No, it's a barbecue place.
Well, Latins like barbecue.
Of course they do.
Yeah, who doesn't like a big old plate of charred animal flesh barbecue, especially if it's done right?
When you phrase it like that, it turns me off. But
if it's done right.
If I see it and I smell it, I'm all in. Today's Wednesday.
Oh, today's Wednesday.
Yeah.
That would be a chopped beef on a baked potato.
Yeah.
So even the Irish can like that one.
Had they been open yesterday, which yesterday was the 4th,
yesterday
they were closed.
Rib tips.
Come on, let's go. Once they're
You're
gone.
a grand old rib tip. You're a high-flying rib tip.
And let's just jump to Thursday, where I start with the side, but you start with the main.
Yeah, the pork chop. I love pork chop.
And?
Well, the macaroni and cheese. I thought you were going to throw in the macaroni because you said you start with the side.
I do start with the side, yeah.
Mac and cheese.
Yeah.
But Mac and Cheese is still the supporting actor in this cast.
But it gets best supporting actor.
Maybe so. Yeah, I won't argue that. But the star is that pork chop.
It's the Heath Ledger of The Dark Knight. It's that good.
Okay.
He won an Academy Award for best supporting actor.
He was the supporting actor.
Yeah, he was the best supporting actor. He was the Joker.
Man,
yeah.
That was a role to die for.
Yeah. Well, by the way, it's located in Bryan, 1701 South Texas Avenue in Bryan. Without a doubt, the best barbecue in town is Fargo's. That's their trademark because it's true. Go check it out.
I'm Chelsea Reber with your community calendar on The Zone. The Brazos Valley Museum of Natural History invites you to join their annual live butterfly release on Saturday, July 22nd from 9 a.m. to noon. Supplies are limited, so call the museum to reserve your spot today. The Mental Health First Aid Program teaches participants how to recognize the signs and symptoms of a possible mental health challenge or substance misuse, de-escalate situations, listen non-judgmentally, and connect people to resources. This free course is offered each month at the Brazos County Health District. From camping to computers, arts to engineering, and service projects to field trips, it's all at Girl Scouts. Learn more at gsctx.org. The Brazos Valley Farmers Market is open in downtown Bryan Saturday mornings from 8 to noon. All produce is grown locally from friends and neighbors you know and trust. Sign up for the Zone All Access newsletter brought to you by Caliber, the wealth development company. Sign up now at zone1150.com. That's your community calendar. I'm Chelsea Reber on The Zone.
Are you looking for investment options that potentially outpace today's high inflation environment? Concerned about recent banking failures or the volatility of the stock and crypto markets? Call Caliber to learn how you can invest in commercial real estate investments right here in Bryan College Station that support the community while producing real returns for investors. Caliber, the wealth development company, partnering with the community to build a better tomorrow. 979-977-2950. That's 979-977-2950. The investments and services offered may not be suitable for all investors. You should seek advice from an independent financial advisor.
Maroon U is your ultimate stop for brand name apparel, gifts, and accessories for the entire family. From Columbia, 47 brand, Yeti, Dooney & Burke, and Adidas, we're able to outfit you for every occasion. Visit Maroon U and our family of companies on Holloman Drive in College Station to shop the latest in brand name Aggie merchandise. Shop Maroon U today, voted best in the Brazos' best gift shop since 2016. Maroon never looked so good with Maroon U.
If you own construction equipment and have yet to experience WPI's world-class service, WPI is now offering field service and deep discounts to all new customers. This is Timothy Cornup, your local branch manager at WPI. Regardless of your machine's make or model, call WPI and receive your new customer discount. From custom hydraulic hoses, O-rings, and DEF, to teeth, buckets, and blades, any part, filter, fluid, battery, or lighting for every brand of equipment is at your local WPI. Highway 21 East at Marina Road, or click WPI.com.
Each Tuesday at 1:55, I'm joined inside the Charles Schwab studio by April Plemons of Long Way Home Adoptables. We get to meet our mascot of the week, a dog, a cat, an animal looking for a permanent home. The mascot of the week on the Louis Bellina Show is brought to you by Waggy Pet Zone. Have you ever wondered what goes into training a service dog? Well, you can find out inside their service dog group classes. Sign up now. Get more information at waggypetzone.com.
That hot old summer sun make you beg for your next breath.
Olin? Who is this?
So you best be on the creek bank.
You don't know?
I don't know.
Is that on your playlist?
I'm starting to like it. I like the way it sounded, though.
Yeah. Luke, do you know?
You already know I have no idea.
Yeah, true.
Sounds like Hank Williams Jr. would be my
Is that,
guess.
it does sound like Hank Williams.
Hank. Hey, we're TexAgs Radio. We're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. We are here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. It is a Go Hour presented by the warehouse at CC Creations. I'm going to read a quick text before we go to Luke. David in the Pacific Northwest. It turns out Friday wasn't the train wreck that David predicted. I didn't predict it was going to be a train wreck, did I?
I don't know. I mean, I never heard you say
did.
that.
No, we gave Kay and Kennedy a chance because they're great. They're awesome. Maybe I picked on them a little bit leading up to it, but no, I don't think so. I knew they'd be great. All right, let's go to that News and Social Center. That's where we find Luke Evangelist. Luke, good morning, sir.
Good morning, David.
Are you wearing a hot dog?
I am wearing a hot dog shirt. I'm very festive. It was for 4th of July.
But today's July 5th.
It doesn't matter. I like to celebrate for the whole week.
All week hot dogs.
All week, yeah.
Well, I guarantee if I had as many hot dogs on the 4th as it's on your shirt, I'd probably still be tasting them on the 5th.
You don't know how to respond to that, do you?
I don't know how to respond. In typical OB fashion, you've left me speechless.
You ever eat something that just stays with you, and like the next day, it's like, oh, I got to still have the indigestion?
No.
Never?
Never in my life.
Okay. Well, of course,
I haven't.
I guess broccoli doesn't do that to you.
I have a lot of protein, buddy. Lots of protein. Luke, what news do you have for us?
Yeah, so when I think of 4th of July, I think of 3 things: freedom, fireworks, and Joey Chestnut. Freedom, Jace Lavalette was letting freedom ring all weekend. He had a few home runs, and Team USA went 5-0. Their next series starts on Friday against Japan. Fireworks, recruiting Cam Coleman, we hit on it. What an amazing way to cap off a great weekend, also getting Jalen Hornsby and Ty Anthony Smith. And then Joey Chestnut. My grandfather's generation had Kareem. My dad's generation had MJ. My generation has Joey Chestnut,
That's
the
a damn
undisputed
shame.
GOAT. He ate 69 hot dogs and buns, won his 16th hot dog championship. He's just a legend.
Yeah, I heard somebody called him like the greatest, the most dominant athlete ever. Just because you can gorge yourself with a bunch of hot dogs does not make you an athlete. Gorge yourself with a bunch of hot dogs, run 10 miles without throwing up, then
you're an athlete.
I may call you an athlete.
We also had a basketball transfer commit to Texas A&M.
I saw that.
Yeah, UMass.
Yeah.
Center Walden Levesque commits to A&M, and he was at South Carolina before that. So, if I remember correctly, Buzz did recruit him back in 2018.
Yeah, I see his numbers are modest, but I think he averaged 6 points or something like that.
Yep.
That's okay. They just need guys that can come in and play inside and make them bigger.
Yep.
A&M needs to be bigger.
All right, let's now do the Apex Performance of the Week, presented by Apex Health. Feel like you're losing your edge? It could be low testosterone. Increase your energy, sharpen your focus, and boost your performance with a custom treatment plan from Apex Health. Learn more at apexhealthclinic.com. The Apex Health Clinic is owned and operated by a veteran serving the Brazos Valley. All right, so who's going to get our Performance of the Week? I'm going to go first, all right?
Go first.
Simple. I'm going to do a blanket statement. Texas A&M recruiting. I mean, you can't have the week that they just had and not give them the props that they deserve. I mean, Cam Coleman's the most recent, but what else have we had? We had Jalen Hornsby on Saturday.
Receiver.
Ty Anthony Smith, the linebacker. Friday. Draylon Miller, athlete, can play many places, wide receiver as well, on Thursday. Tuesday, Gabriel Relaford. Monday, Weston Davis, the offensive lineman. Am I missing somebody in the last week?
Yeah, I don't know, man. Though I have to say that I think special recognition would go to Damian Craig if he is the lead recruiter on Cameron, because to get a guy out of Alabama, that takes some work.
5-star out of Alabama.
5-star out of Alabama.
And then did you see that on the message boards? People posting what they're saying on the Auburn message boards. They're not happy.
No, they're not. The whole NIL. Oh, you're paying them this much. And I always laugh. I would say, would somebody ever give your source? Oh, I heard they're paying them $20,000 a month. Where do you hear that from?
Right.
Give a source. But there never is a source.
There's never a source.
Look, and of course, if that was true, which it probably isn't, I would come to A&M. You can get a great education, you can get a great payday. Sure, come on.
I expect those kind of things to happen on fan message boards. That part I don't have a problem with. Where I have a problem is when prominent journalists use message board material as to kind of help tell their story.
Right, because if you're a journalist, you find out if there's some truth to it.
Yep.
Don't just, but journalism isn't what it used to be. It's lazy now. So.
Yep. Let's go to Luke. Luke's got one for us.
Yeah, my Apex Performance of the Week is going to be Jace Sternberger and Jameer Johnson winning the USFL Championship with the Birmingham Stallions. Jace had 3 catches for 65 yards in a 28-12 victory to help the Stallions win back-to-back championships. Jace finishes the season with 39 catches, 644 yards, and 8 touchdowns. He led the league in receiving touchdowns and finished top 5 in receiving yards. OB and David, do we think we see Jace on an NFL roster next season?
I think he's going to get an opportunity.
Yeah, I think he'll get an opportunity.
Yep.
because you see guys, the Cowboys last year had a guy, Turpin, who was a USFL player the year before, and he was on the team last year. So those guys get a shot, and hopefully he'll get a shot, and hopefully he'll make a team. He's a good guy, another good guy.
What they should do, and this is just me thinking differently, they should set up a championship game by the USFL champion versus the XFL champion every year.
You know what? I wouldn't be opposed to it, but I probably wouldn't watch it.
If it was during the spring, like nowish, no.
I'm just saying I probably wouldn't watch it.
Okay,
but I'm all for it.
But did you watch XFL during COVID?
No.
Right before COVID, you didn't.
No.
Some people did.
Look, anything that's going to have people working and making some money and increasing their opportunity to live their dream, I'm all for. Just doesn't mean I'm going to watch.
Yeah. Let's hit a break. We'll come back. Have you heard of Billy Lucci?
I've heard of him.
He's good.
Yeah, wasn't he in The Godfather?
I think he played. Did he play Fredo?
No, he did not.
He's more of a Sonny Corleone.
Yeah, he's more of a Sonny.
Yeah. We'll talk to Billy
before the
shooting,
before getting rubbed out.
Right now, one place you're not going to get rubbed out is Milliken Reserve, farm-to-table community in College Station. They got homes, they got trails, they got wide open spaces, and their mission is to build a healthy community around nature. They're dedicated to the conservation of a healthy community, respect for that native landscape and wildlife. 2,600 acres of open space. You've got farms, you've got 30 miles of trails and homes. They want to connect families to nature and to each other. When you go there, they have an extensive network of trails throughout a wooded landscape that includes walking paths, equestrian paths, creeks, ponds, and gathering areas. It's a place for families to cherish for generation after generation, and they are committed to maintaining and restoring that natural habitat where you're going to find the white-tailed deer that you love to see, the songbirds, the rabbits, the turtles. And homeowners at Milliken Reserve sharing a legacy of conservation, which means generation after generation, you're going to come home to that same pristine countryside place, an enduring resource and place to come together, relax, and reflect. You can learn more information about it at millikenreserve.com. Again, that's millikenreserve.com.
The TexAgs way. If you come at the king, you best not miss. It's TexAgs Radio with Lucci and Nuño.
Ground Shuttle is the Brazos Valley's premier transportation provider, well known for frequent and reliable rides to the Houston airports. Did you know that Ground Shuttle also offers private car service and charter service? For game day or any day, you could book any vehicle in their fleet to accommodate your group size and needs, from luxury sedans to full-size shuttles. It's the hassle-free way to get your group to sporting events and concerts, corporate meetings and dinners, and evening out, and the airport too. Learn more at groundshuttle.com. Ground Shuttle, let us do the driving.
Are you looking for investment options that potentially outpace today's high inflation environment? Concerned about recent banking failures or the volatility of the stock and crypto markets? Call Caliber to learn how you can invest in commercial real estate investments right here in Bryan College Station that support the community while producing real returns for investors. Caliber, the wealth development company, partnering with the community to build a better tomorrow. 979-977-2950. That's 979-977-2950. The investments and services offered may not be suitable for all investors. You should seek advice from an independent financial advisor.
Ho, ho, ho! It's our annual Christmas in July sale. Today and today only, save an additional 15% off your entire order. No promo code necessary. That's an extra 15% off our already low prices on gift certificates for restaurants, entertainment, and much, much more. Stock up today and enjoy your summer with big deals.
It's Christmas in July, today only at AggielandBigDeals.com.
When is the last time you were at J. Cody's? Well, friends, that's way too long. It's time to come back home. We still have all your favorite meats, from our mouth-watering smoked brisket, sausage, and turkey to our delicious mesquite grilled steaks. And don't forget J. Cody's refillable sides, especially their famous Cody corn, all served right to your table. Located on South College in Bryan. Are you getting hungry? Well, then get back home to J. Cody's. Online at jcodys.com.
At ASCO, we're on it, and Case IH Farmall tractors are on it too. For over 8 decades, America's farmers have counted on the little red tractor from Case IH, the Farmall, to help them make short work of their demanding chores. With horsepower ranging from 30 to 105, plus an army of attachments, you can tackle every chore on your to-do list, from hauling and mowing to loading and baling, and then some. Visit ASCO Equipment in Bryan to find a Case IH Farmall that's right for you. At ASCO, we're on it.
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max.
When the light turns red, no one takes that as a suggestion. That's a command. Like, you have to stop. You can't think about it. You got to stop. Why is it any different when it turns green? It turns green. It's not saying, hey, you may go. It says you have to go. Why do people take that as a suggestion?
I caught myself yesterday in the city at a red light. I found myself on Instagram Reels, and I was definitely way more than 5 Mississippis.
Listen in to Key, J. Will, and Max, powered by WC Tractor from 5 to 8 on the Zone.
Thomas. That's your
Thomas
guy.
Petty.
That's your dude right there.
That's a great rock and roll singer.
TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. So a huge pickup in Cam Coleman from Phoenix City, Alabama, where he's a 5-star.
I've actually spent the night in Phoenix City, Alabama.
Have you?
Yeah.
Where's
at a Marriott property?
Closer to Georgia is what I read on the text line.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. I can't even remember. It was during 2020 when I was the only guy from TexAgs that traveled.
Yeah. Let's go to the hotline. Billy Lucci's with us here on the hotline. Billy, good morning, sir.
Morning, Nuño.
How are you, buddy?
A little early here.
A little
earlier than we're used to.
It's all right. How are you doing?
Good.
So it's been
Tell
popping.
you, it's a fine little city. It's like a little Christmas card up here.
Yeah, that's right. You are on vacay. I've seen some of the.
When's he not?
Well,
I mean, I get it. He works while he's on vacation, but his whole life's a vacation.
Pretty good life to have.
Yeah, I know. I'm pissed.
I don't disagree. OB, that part. But I don't take enough physical vacations as I should. Like last week, Mexico, this week, Colorado. But I mean, if you really think about it, like I'm trying to think when the last time I took a TexAgs related. I'm sure there's one in there.
I don't know that place in Mexico that you just recently visited.
No, I'm saying Mexico last week, Colorado this week, but before that, it's probably been. I think my Jackson Hole one got canceled and snowed out in February, and I think that was it. Yeah,
people work their whole lives to get into a position where they can live half the life that Billy Lucci lives.
Billy, let's talk about Jimbo and his staff living their best life right now. Cam Coleman, the most recent guy they picked up. How did they get him?
First of all, by the way, Olin says that right after he tells us he's spent the night in Phoenix City, so I don't want to hear it, OB. But
Phoenix City, tell you right. But go on.
Hey, what at Phoenix City to College Station has a lot of people in Bright excited and should because.
Yes,
and it's got people all over the SEC and the state of Texas triggered too, which it should as well. But what a lightning bolt of a commitment! I mean, this has been in the works for a while, But Cam Coleman, he didn't do any kind of like pre-build up to an announcement, and there wasn't. I like it that way. I mean, you talk about getting more bang, getting more bang out of a commitment. That's the way to do it. And I don't know, you think about Jimbo, Damian Craig, the work they did on this recruitment, and Damian deserves a ton of credit here to go into Alabama, get a 5-star receiver, a legit, bona fide 5-star receiver here with size, speed, through the roof to go catch a football. He body control. He fights you for it. Just an absolute, you look at him, you go, straight up playmaker. Same thing I would have said when they signed, Evan Stewart. And you saw what he did as a true freshman. I expect a very similar, instant impact from Coleman in Aggieland. He's that good. And to go in there and beat out pretty much everyone in the country, but really in particular, just the teams out of that footprint. And everybody in let's just call it the traditional powers of the SEC. He could have been at Alabama, he could have been at Auburn, who some people predicted he was going to. He could have been at Florida or LSU. But he chose College Station and Jimbo and the Aggies. And the reason why is I think a lot of it had to do with just how early the Aggies were in on him. And again, it was just a tremendous recruitment. I think he and his family felt like Texas A&M was home. And that's just great recruiting. It's funny to me how when A&M doesn't get a guy, it becomes a joke, a meme. Jimbo and the Aggies are done for, and they can't recruit. They went 5-7. But when they go on a run like this that they're on right now, and they start getting players like Traylon Miller, Tyancy Smith, Cam Coleman, all in succession, then it's like, oh, the oil money's back and the NIL, and it's like, I mean, are we doing this when a team that hasn't done anything of late, like Florida's racking up commitments? Are we doing it? Did we do it when Tennessee did it under Jimmy Pruitt? Did we do it when Texas did it, recruiting a top 5 class after 5-7 and losing to Kansas? Did we do it when Texas signed the top 3 last year after going 8-5? Because we sure as hell did it when A&M signed number 1 after going 8-4. So it's funny to me to watch everyone react, but the real point here, what's happening, is you are giving this offensive staff, guys, some incredible weapons at wide receiver. I mean, this passing game, where it could go, and it needs to, but where it could go, you start thinking about what's in the pipeline for A&M at receiver, and they're starting to really build something special and recruit at a level that I haven't seen them recruit at the position, if you take into account the last couple of years.
Billy, they always say that the SEC is a line of scrimmage league, but when I look nationally at teams that win championships, aren't they always just loaded at receiver? You think about that Alabama team in 2020, and when they had Waddle and the Heisman Trophy winner, even Clemson, when they won it, they had the Higgins and I can't remember the other kid's name, and then LSU.
And LSU. And look, even Georgia. I mean, Georgia got it done, but Brock Bowers he can block, but he's just still like an unguardable weapon down the field at wide receiver. And you mentioned LSU, or Bama had 4 of them there for 1 year, and then 3, and then 2. Even when they had the 2 lesser guys, they were still game changers. Both went in the top 10, who we're sitting here going, they weren't anything like Devontae Smith and Waddle and those 4 when they had those 4 guys. So, no, I think in college football today, you've got to have guys on the perimeter, game-breaking presences at wide receiver. I mean, because it's just where the game's gone, and they play such a big role too of opening up that running game when you get guys that just scare you and just scare the hell out of you down the field, like Jerry Jeudy at Bama, like Chase, like Jefferson. And you keep recruiting until you can find guys like that. And not every 5-star pans out, but more of those guys do than 3 stars. Mike Evans is the exception. He's one of the exceptions. But you sign 100 5-stars and 100 3-stars, and I guarantee you more of the 5-stars will pan out. And there's a reason why he's a 5-star. You watch the tape, you watch him perform in pads, then you see what he looks like in person, and it comes from a really good program there. And then you look at everybody in the country that was tripping all over themselves to sign him, and you go, all these people can't be wrong. And they're usually not. And you see A&M sign these big-time receivers sporadically, but you're seeing it with more consistency and frequency now. And that doesn't even count a guy like a Noah Thomas, who is one of those ones that was inexplicably overlooked. I think it was just because he committed so early and never worried about his recruitment. But, man, I'm looking at 2024, and I'm going Evan Stewart as a junior, Noah Thomas in year 3, And then there's other guys here right now that they just signed or just took via the portal. But then I'm also thinking of Draylen Miller and Cam Coleman, not to mention, again, they just committed Jalen Hornsby. They've got DeBron Gatling. I mean, there's a long list, but you want to talk about, because I'm going to tell you right now, Noah Thomas is a 5-star talent, and so is Draylen Miller. He may end up there anyway. But you could, in theory, see some snaps in 24 Rams got 4 5-star, 3 5-star receivers on the field, and a guy named Noah Thomas that's on the fast track to the NFL. And it's been a while since you can say that. So the way they're recruiting on offense right now is ridiculous. The momentum, David, they're in the top 10 again. It's been a while since A&M has had this kind of momentum on the recruiting front, because they really didn't have it at any point last cycle. And they are freaking rolling now, guys, and they're not done.
So when you say they're not done, I mean, is this kind of like the vibe for the next couple of weeks? There's still going to be guys trickling in, or is this more now that they've gotten such a momentum, we wait till the season?
No. You know what, man? I think they're going to ride this wave as long as they can. And there'll be a couple positions where they're kind of particular now, receiver and linebacker being 2 of those, but they're still, they still need, I'd say, with 3 quality linebacker commits, there's definitely room for 4. So they'll go down that road too. And maybe even another receiver if he's a specialty type, like just a straight up burner is what I could see him looking at. And there's one out of Houston and there's one out of Refugio that they're eyeballing, both of those guys. So, but no, I don't think they're going to tap the brakes, because the momentum they have right now, and you've got the pool party coming up in a couple weeks, I think 3 weeks from now. That's always, where guys that are kind of on the fence, you can get them in the boat. That's one where they're going to try to have some guys that maybe right now people think are heading elsewhere, and they'll try to get them in for that and see if they can either, sway them or at least convince them to tap the brakes and maybe hold off until that pool party and see what you can do. But more than anything, I look at guys like, on the O-line, Blake Ivy's still a big-time target out of the Houston area. That's one I'm keeping a close eye on. And there's a couple others. These commitments have not been surprising. I'll put it that way. They may seem like it. They have not been surprising to the folks in Bright. This has been these guys have kind of been teed up, and I think, to be honest with you, I think Jimbo's sitting there. He doesn't follow those recruiting rankings and stuff, but every coach has people bring them to him, and they get wind of this stuff. A&M was like a 2% chance for the experts to land Draylen Miller and Kai Anthony Smith, and you saw the crystal balls coming in for Cam Coleman the day before he chooses A&M for Bama. And I think these guys in Bright right now have such a good grip on what's going on that they're just sitting there going. And I'm not saying they're getting every single person. Colin Simmons is leaning Texas' way. Kobe Black, still in communication with A&M. He's probably leaning Texas' way. But the momentum for A&M right now is off the chart, and they've known these commits are coming. There's a real plan and strategy to it, and also they're, I think, working with the kids in terms of the timing of stuff. There's a reason I've been saying that there are going to be fireworks on the 4th of July, and I wasn't talking about the kind that I saw over the mountains here last night. I was talking about the ones in College Station, and not the ones at the George Bush Library either. I'm talking about the one coming out of the Bright complex. They've known what's coming, and they've been kind of sitting back, anxiously awaiting this run of commit. So credit them, man, because they've really regathered and regrouped after slipping last year. Although I'll say this, talking to the people over there across the street, guys, the early returns on that 23 recruiting class they're pretty pleased with it.
Hey, Billy, I kind of hope we get you back on the show this week. I know you're not scheduled to, but that might mean we have more news. So I hope to talk to you again.
I'm not expecting anything like in the next day or two or, this week, but momentum is a funny thing in recruiting. So you got those guys that are kind of just on the edge, and a lot of times that'll tip them over. So, and no, I'll say this, I think A&M's in a good spot with Bussey, and that's the name everybody keeps talking about. I think they're going to have a real chance to flip Atkins before all is said and done. But I'd look, and Singleton out of Manning, Louisiana, linebacker that they really like. They're in a great spot with him too. And I mentioned Ivy, but I'm not expecting any of those guys to go this week. But I also wasn't expecting them to get, an edge defender from Louisiana when I was in Mexico. So who knows?
All right, Billy. Thanks, man. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, fellas.
See ya. Billy G on the hotline. Let's hit a break. We'll come back with another segment here on the Go Hour. It's TexAgs Radio.
I'm Chelsea Reber with your community calendar on the Zone. Registration is now open for the Arts Council of Brazos Valley Youth Summer Camps program. 18 art classes will be offered over an 8-week period for ages 6 to 18. Visit acbv.org for more information and to sign up. The next Bush Library movie night is Friday, August 11th, featuring Little Giants. Games and snacks begin at 7. The movie starts at sundown. Big Brothers Big Sisters has openings in their mentorship program and wants more kids to join. Children ages 6 to 16 can apply to enroll in the program and can stay matched up to age 21. More information is online at bbbsbrazos.org. The Gardens at Texas A&M offer a variety of volunteer opportunities. Visit gardens.tamu.edu/volunteers to learn more. You can hear Houston Astros baseball all summer long on the Zone and select games on Gospel 97.3 FM thanks to Kelly Burtdozer. That's your community calendar. I'm Chelsea Reber on the Zone.
Howdy, I'm Steve Bledsoe, Senior Vice President at VeriBank. Whether you're looking for a safe place to keep and grow your money, funding to help your business expand, or financial advice to ensure you're on track for retirement, VeriBank has you covered. We take a genuine interest in your needs and working to find the best solution for you. At VeriBank, we believe in giving you a better banking experience every day. Stop by our location in College Station or visit us at veribank.com. That's VERA bank.com.
VeriBank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Howdy, this is Brad Beard with Intercon. You would not buy a car, boat, or major appliance if the warranty only covered material, leaving you to pay labor, freight, and other charges. So don't make the same mistake when making a window or glass purchase. With many players in the window industry, limited warranties are truly limited. At Intercon, the warranties we provide cover 100% of the cost to get the product performing as it should. The labor and freight charges on other vendors' warranties can add up to hundreds, even thousands of dollars. Ask questions about other warranties offered. What costs are not covered? Are they transferable? What happens if a vendor goes out of business? Intercon does not represent any fly-by-night manufacturers who change their name and product line continually. We have long-standing relationships with our vendors and offer the best warranties in the business. Years down the road, Intercon will still be in the Brazos Valley, making sure the product we sold you lives up to expectations. Call Intercon and get the best product at the best price with the best service.
When it comes to windows for your most valuable asset, trust your local friends and neighbors from Intercon. Call Brad Beard with Intercon at 823-3639. That's 823-3639 for Intercon today.
Sign up now for the Zone All Access newsletter, brought to you by Caliber, the wealth development company. Want to know what guests are coming on the show and when? Want to know the contests, the events, and what's going on with the Zone 1150 AM and 93.7 FM? Sign up for the Zone All Access newsletter at zone1150.com. You can call Caliber to learn how you can invest in commercial real estate. Call 979-977-2950. That's 979-977-2950. Or visit calibercode.com/Texas.
It
warms my heart that kids, because Luke is a child, right? Well, not a child, but he's a kid.
Everybody is.
Right? That somebody of Luke's age took the time to watch The Godfather. It makes me happy that that movie is going to be able to still be a classic for the next generation.
Best movie I've ever seen.
It is, for most of my life, I'd said it's been number one. I would say it's the best movie experience, no doubt. And I read the book, too.
I did, too.
Great book.
Yes, it is.
And, you know, I saw the movie before I read the book. And what I love about the movie is some of the description the book goes into you really feel it when you read it.
Well, I'll say this about the book and the movie, right? And people won't know what I'm talking about unless they've read the book. But in the movie, you almost feel sorry for Luca Brasi when he gets whacked.
Right.
If you read the book,
not so much.
You say, it wasn't good.
He had it coming.
Yeah, he had it coming. Yes, he did.
And you liked it, right, Luke?
Yeah, I thought it was really good.
I don't think I like that response. You wouldn't say it was great?
Look.
Was it a little slow for you?
Yeah, a little bit slow, but I enjoyed the action when
What
there was
would be
action.
your favorite movie outside of the Godfather franchise?
The Christian Bale Batman series.
Of course.
By the way, I'm not alone in that. It is widely regarded as one of the best cinematic moments in movie history.
Okay.
Google it. Top 10 movie.
It doesn't mean enough for me to Google. I like the movie. I'd go Shawshank, though.
Shawshank's great. Yeah. Shawshank's great. Luke, you got one for us?
Yeah, but you probably won't like it. I think Happy Gilmore is the best movie ever.
That came out before you were born, right?
Yeah, but I could quote every line of it.
I love that. What year were you born?
2001.
Yeah, I think that came out in the 90s.
I was 40.
Michael Jordan was, I believe, in his final season of his second retirement, I think. Maybe he
was it with the Wizards?
Yeah, with the Wizards. Maybe it was 2002 his last year. But yeah, early. When did LeBron come into the league? 01, 02?
I don't know.
So you've been around for LeBron's life.
Yep. I grew up watching LeBron. Would I say he's the GOAT? I don't know.
Okay, do not start that argument.
There's some kid right now who's a toddler who's going to be like one of the greatest athletes ever, and I probably won't live to see it.
All right, let's hit a break. OB's going to stick around for a few more minutes. John Harris had to reschedule, so we're going to chit-chat. I got a couple different things to get into with OB. We'll do that next here on TexAgs Radio.
You can hear Houston Astros baseball all season, all postseason long on the Zone, 1150 AM and 93.7 FM, and select games on Gospel, 97.3 FM. Astros baseball brought to you by Kelly Burt Dozer. All season long, Houston Astros baseball on the Zone and select games on Gospel, 97.3 FM. Astros baseball brought to you by Kelly Burt Dozer.
I'm not a numbers person. I couldn't do math the old way. Now there's a new way? Have you ever thought like this when it comes to your kid in math? You're not alone. With kids more than half a grade level behind in math because of COVID, now is a time parents need to jump in and be part of the equation. And you don't need to be a math whiz to help. Visit bepartoftheequation.org to check whether your kid is on track with math. Find tips, videos, and more at bepartoftheequation.org today.
Like us on Facebook at Zone 1150. Follow us on Twitter at Zone 1150. Get connected now. Get connected now. With the Zone 1150 AM and 93.7 FM. This is KZNE College Station, Bryan.
From WTAW, I'm Chelsea Reber with a news update on the Zone. East of downtown Bryan Monday morning, just before 5 a.m., Bryan police respond to a citizen's report of 3 people attempting to break into vehicles. That led to the arrest of 2 16-year-olds and a 17-year-old on multiple charges. All 3 were charged with 5 vehicle burglaries, 7 attempted burglaries, unlawful carrying of weapons, evading officers, and violating parole. A 32-year-old College Station man is in the Brazos County Jail for the 5th time in the last 6 weeks and the 16th time since December 2008. That's after College Station police responded Sunday morning at 9:30 to a report of a vehicle that was parked the wrong way and the driver slumped over the wheel. Marcus Gomez was arrested after leading officers on a foot chase through the intersection of Texas and Holloman on charges of evading and possession of methamphetamine. Is your company willing to hire persons with a criminal record?
A person is really just looking for a chance.
Nathan Wood is the chief public defender at the newly created Brazos County Public Defender's Office. He says they're looking to establish a list of employers willing to hire their clients if they would otherwise qualify for the job.
Because a lot of the time, what pushes repeat offenders toward that recidivism to offend again is a sense of hopelessness for their future, a sense of lack of opportunity to meet their immediate needs and the immediate needs of their family.
Wood invites interested companies to call the Public Defender's Office. A state honor is given to a more than 25-year employee at the Bryan College Station Chamber of Commerce. Royce Hickman is this year's recipient of the Texas Chamber of Commerce Executives Award for Career Accomplishments. Hickman is in his 7th year as the BCS Chamber's community liaison. That follows more than 19 years as Chamber President and CEO. From the BCS Chamber's LinkedIn page, the Marvin Hurley Award is the highest honor of the Texas Chamber industry. I'm Chelsea Reber on The Zone.
Mornings were made for better things than rheumatoid arthritis or RA. Xeljanz tofacitinib is a pill for adults with moderate to severe RA when tumor necrosis factor blockers did not work well or could not be tolerated. Xeljanz can help relieve joint pain, swelling, and help stop further joint damage. Xeljanz can lower your ability to fight infections. Don't start if you have one. Before and during treatment, your doctor should check for infections like TB and do blood tests. Serious, sometimes fatal infections, cancers including lymphoma and lung, blood clots, serious heart-related events, tears in the stomach or intestines, and allergic reactions have happened. People 50 and older with heart disease risk factors have an increased risk of death. Tell your doctor if you've had hepatitis B or C, have flu-like symptoms, are prone to infections, or have ever had a heart attack, stroke, clot, or other heart problems, or swelling of lips, tongue, throat, or hives. Ask your doctor about prescription Xeljanz. Visit Xeljanz.com or call 1-844-XELJANZ.
If you have a debit card, you're used to spending money. But what if your card actually ended up earning you money? That's not exactly normal, but that's what you can get at A&B. It's called Kasasa Cashback Checking. Don't mind the weird name. What you need to know is that it's a free account with cash rewards. Use your debit card for everyday purchases, and we'll pay you cash back every month. If that doesn't sound like normal banking, well, guess what? We're not a normal bank. So contact A&B today and ask for Kasasa or visit ANB.com. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
I'm Sean Burnett with your Aggie Sports Minute on The Zone. This update is brought to you by Hilco Metal Roofing and Supply. Call 936-825-0500 or click hillcosupply.com. Texas A&M football got a huge commitment yesterday as Phoenix City Central 5-star wide receiver Cameron Coleman announced he'll be coming to Texas A&M. Coleman is 6'3", 180 pounds, and has a combination of both size and athletic ability. The Aggies won out on him over Auburn, LSU, Clemson, and Florida State. He's the 16th commit of the 2024 group, and the Aggies now have DeBron Gatling, Jalen Hornsby, Draylon Miller, and Eric Carner lined up as future wide receivers. Aggie softball got good news this week as they picked up Pac-12 All-Freshman and NFCA West All-Region first-teamer Kennedy Powell. Powell spent her first season at UCLA. She was the 6th overall recruit in the nation coming out of high school. She hit .374 last season with 21 RBIs. And that's your Aggie Sports Minute, brought to you by Hilco Metal Roofing and Supply. On The Zone, I'm Sean Burnett.
Hi, popular sports talk host Chip Howard, reminding you it's July, and that means I'm gone. Someone will be back on the air July 6th, but until then, enjoy the Independence Day holidays and be sure to patronize my sponsors like Superior Air Repair, Texas Grill Supply, Hen House Awards, and Decker Financial. I'll be back in time for football season with lots of great stories about my fabulous vacation. Remember, weekdays 4 to 6 right here on The Zone.
Look, if you had one shot, one opportunity to seize everything you ever wanted in one moment.
And we're back. TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Waller Insurance Studio. little M&M for you. OB requested that one. He's going to stick around for a few more minutes. OB, a couple things I wanted to get into here. John Harris was supposed to be on. He's going to reschedule for Friday, so we're just going to chit-chat. I asked you at the top of the show to think about it because it was a question on ESPN. I did not go into the audio or the video of it, but I'm going to ask you because you know both teams well. Who's more likely to win a title in Dallas, Luka or Dak? If not this year, it's just in general.
Yeah, I think Dak. They're close. But what Dak's got to do is figure out how to quit screwing up royally when they get into the red zone. They're not that far off. And I think what Dak has going for him is Micah Parsons.
Okay.
And, they're building a defense around that guy. And so maybe you'll get to the point where you don't have to be a team that's going to score 28 to 30 points to win.
Am I wrong of thinking I think the Eagles were really good last year, but I'm not that sold on the Eagles like long term. I could see the Cowboys winning the East this year.
Well, I would pick the Eagles as much as that. It hurts me to say that. But I think the Cowboys aren't far behind them, right? Now, you got to stay healthy. Everybody knows that.
Let me ask you this. A year ago today, would you have said Luka was closer? Because a year ago today, didn't they had just come off the Western Conference Finals. There were still questions about the Cowboys. There's still questions about the Cowboys, but the Mavs fell so out of favor. And the Kyrie addition, which, by the way, he's coming back, didn't work. A year ago, would you have said Dak or would you have said Luka?
Probably would have said Dak.
Okay.
Luke is amazing, but is he not a defensive liability?
Yeah, but a lot of scores
are.
Yeah.
And they just seem to have problems finding a couple of complementary pieces that it all works because so much, I guess, goes through him. But here's the counter argument to that. With Dak, you got to find 21 other guys that are going to play at a high level and stay healthy.
Yep.
With Luka, you got to find 4 other guys that are going to play at a high level and stay healthy.
NBA, obviously 5 guys on the court at once, and I think one guy can make a bigger difference than one guy in an NFL.
It's true.
Right? But the hard part about it is you look at the Western Conference for the Mavs, there are a lot of teams that are legit good. The Nuggets just won. The Grizzlies are still going to be really good. The Kings seem to be up and coming. The Suns are experimenting again with a different roster, but pretty much Kevin Durant's coming back, right? So you've got that. The Clippers are the Clippers. The Warriors just added CP3. We'll see how that helps them.
Yeah, they're going to start declining sooner or later, though.
You would think.
There's so much age on that team now.
But Steph is still Steph. The way he shoots, he is still Steph.
Yeah, but Father Time always wins.
Yeah, you told me about that earlier.
Yeah.
T-Wolves, Lakers, I think, are one of those teams, again, they're going to take a step backwards as well. But the West is deep, deep, deep.
It is.
I wonder, though, what a Luka Kyrie offseason can look like because I've seen some clips of Luka. Apparently, he's starting to get some rid of that baby fat, hitting the gym a little bit.
Yeah, it's a good question because it did not work.
At all.
But when they've had a whole offseason and more preparation, things like maybe it'll be different. But until I actually see it, here's the bottom line to your question. Last year, the Mavs didn't even make the playoffs. The Cowboys made the playoffs, and quite frankly, if they had run the ball on 2nd and 2 at the San Francisco 15 or wherever it was, and not thrown an interception, you probably win the game.
Yeah.
And maybe one of the things they got, I have no faith in Mike McCarthy, none. But if those play selection was all about the Kellen Moore, then maybe just putting more thought into their play selection will make them better.
Well, let me ask you this. Would it shock you to see the Suns win the championship? Shock you?
I got to remind myself who's on the Suns. I know they got Durant, right?
Last year's Suns had CP3, Kevin Durant.
I think any team with a player as talented as Kevin Durant, I would not be shocked.
The Clippers with Kawhi Leonard.
Any team with a guy like Kawhi Leonard, I would not be shocked.
Golden State Warriors.
Would not be shocked.
there's a reason I brought up those three teams. That is the 4, the 5, and the 6 seed in the Western Conference.
Yeah.
Before the Kyrie trade, the Mavericks were a 4 and a 5 seed. They were fluctuating right between the 4 and the 5 at that point. They fell to the 11 seed. They quit the last week of the season. We know that part of it. But they were in that conversation.
Didn't they get him a center in the draft or a big man in the draft? Because they're so soft. That pretty boy Powell, is that his name? He's soft. So if they can just they don't even have to have a great guy. They just have to get a guy that can. I don't know. Maybe everybody's soft in the NBA now, but they need a guy that's just at least can play. I don't want to say physical because nobody plays physical, but can be somewhat of a presence inside.
Yeah. All right. So this is the college football portion of this segment because I wanted to do that at 8:50, but this is what I had for here. I want you to think about the most iconic players since the 2000s began. Okay.
Okay.
All right. And because I got kind of a rough list of who my list would be, but who is the most iconic player? When I say iconic, it can mean whatever it means to you. It doesn't mean you had to win a championship because my number one doesn't have a championship. Okay. My number one is Maroon Goggles, is Johnny Manziel. Since the year 2000, and I'm proud to admit that he's my number one. My number two was Reggie Bush.
Okay.
My number three was VY.
Okay.
The rest of my list, I can go different ways. Joe Burrow, Cam Newton, Tim Tebow, RG3, Baker Mayfield.
No.
Deshaun Watson.
Okay.
So that's kind of where my list is. And after the first three, I don't really have an order, but that's just kind of where I'm at.
Yeah, to me, maybe.
Who am I missing, by the way? Am I missing somebody?
I don't know. There's a lot of
names.
Ones.
Yeah.
Maybe Ezekiel Elliott. They won that national championship because of him.
Yeah.
Remember they had a third string quarterback? Didn't matter. He just gave the ball to Elliott.
Zeke. Yep.
I think the number one guy, if you look at it completely objective, is Vince Young.
Okay.
And number two on my list would be probably Cam Newton.
Cam's too, okay.
Won
a championship.
And number three, and did they win it? Like people talk about Tim Tebow. They won those championships because of their defense. And they always want to say he won two. He didn't. Chris Leak was the starting quarterback when they won in 2006. And they won because of their defense. Go look at the box score and see what happened to Heisman Trophy winning quarterback Troy Smith in that game. By the way, when they played Oklahoma with Tim Tebow, they scored 24 points. What won that game was that the highest scoring offense, one of the highest scoring offenses in the history of college football at Oklahoma, scored 14 points.
Right.
Joe Burrow.
Got to. The season that he had, yeah.
And then if you want to get away from quarterbacks, it's hard to because so much is put on the quarterbacks now. But
are you going Reggie there? You don't seem that impressed.
I mean, Reggie Bush was amazing, but I don't have a problem with saying Reggie
When
Bush
I
there.
watched Reggie Bush, I thought he was the best football player I saw in college. And he didn't win the national championship of that year, obviously. But to me, like when I saw him that season, like the things he was doing, I was blown away with how great he was.
Yeah, he was great. Like I said, I don't have a major problem with it.
Is Johnny on your list somewhere?
Johnny would definitely be in the top 10 without a doubt.
Yeah.
But like I said, Ezekiel Elliott, he's why they won that championship. And I'm sure if I thought really hard, I'd come up with a defensive player and I'd be going, gosh, how do you forget that guy?
Right.
Because it's off the top of my head.
Manti Te'o.
Now I can forget that guy.
You can forget him.
Had a heck of a girlfriend though.
Is RG3 on your list potentially?
Gosh, if you go in the the Heisman Trophy at Baylor, and did they win a conference championship with Baylor? I remember them beating Oklahoma, and I called it. Potentially, but I'd have him listed behind Manziel for sure.
Yep.
I know I'm missing some guys, and it's going to make me mad because I'm not thinking of them. But those are some names that definitely come to mind.
Ed Reed defensively,
man, that was a great player.
Wasn't he great?
I think on defense, like, all right, here's a guy on defense, the Kamagong Su. If you want to talk about him as a college football player, he may be the most dominant college football player I've seen in the 2000s.
Okay. So Tebow's not on your list. VY is probably your number one. I'm trying to think.
I don't think Tim Tebow was the best player on his offense. I think Percy Harvin was.
How about a name that, and I'm just looking through some big names from the 2000s, Adrian Peterson.
Well, Adrian Peterson was freaking amazing.
Wasn't he amazing? I can't believe it took us this long.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
you know,
there's so many great players that, yep.
And they got hurt.
He did.
And what had he been had he not gotten hurt? What would Reggie McNeil have been had he not gotten hurt by his new coach?
Would you put Larry Fitzgerald?
Yeah. I actually voted for him for the Heisman Trophy.
Did you?
I'm proud of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I saw him against A&M, and it wasn't fair.
Was Deshaun on your list somewhere?
I didn't even think of him as first because if I'm going to put a quarterback from Clemson, I'm putting Trevor Lawrence.
Trevor Lawrence above him. Okay. Derrick Henry.
Yeah. Derrick Henry was. It's funny to me how when he came out of Alabama, a lot of people just kind of, yeah, he's not that good. I'm like, what? What are you talking about? What? The guy was freaking amazing. He's one of those guys that was amazing that you forget about. And it's because the position he plays was Quinnen Williams at Alabama.
Right.
And there was a guy that you hadn't really done anything, and all of a sudden he's just a war horse in there and made that defense. I used to love their linebacker, though, Reggie Ragland. Man, that was good. Eric Berry at Tennessee as safety. But, those are great players, but iconic.
Does Lamar Jackson enter the conversation?
Yeah, he definitely does. He's an iconic guy.
Yeah.
And he almost lost to A&M.
Saquon Barkley?
No.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much all the guys that I had at least pondered.
I mean, Saquon Barkley, is he a great player? Yeah. Is he iconic? I don't think so.
Yeah. Devontae Smith.
Well, that's one of those receivers at Alabama that you could that you could certainly put in there. I thought Devontae Smith was the best player in college football in the second half of the season.
Mm-hmm.
I thought if you looked at the entire season, I question whether he deserved the Heisman if you looked at it.
But the second half of the year.
But the second half, he was without a doubt the best player.
If you want to be a part of that conversation, you can text us on the A&B text line, some names out there. So I put Johnny as my number one, but that's with my heart. Like, obviously, I think it is. You have to give it to VY over Reggie, but I thought Reggie was more. I don't know. I mean, VY won, so that's what makes that whole conversation difficult for me.
Here's what I say: had USC won, you would have been asking yourself, could they have won without?
Well, they didn't even go to him at the end, right?
Well, yeah, they went to. But could they have won without Reggie Bush? Probably.
Could Texas have won without VY?
Without a doubt, no. Could Auburn have won without Cam Newton? Without a doubt, no.
I guess what somebody
could LSU have won without Burrow? Probably.
But Texas got close without VY. What was it? 2 years later with Colt? Was it 2 years
Colt
or 1
McCoy.
year? Yeah. Was it 1 year or 2 years after that? It was 2 years, right?
It's more than that. They won it, I think, was it the
05 and 10
season, and then
it was 10.
9.
9, okay.
So 4 years later, yeah, they got close, but a lot of things were different. As good as Alabama was, they weren't being told that they were the best team ever, and 3 years in a row going for their third straight national championship, and so on and so on.
Luke, I know we got some text messages coming in on this topic. Let's go to you at the News and Social Center.
Yeah, we've got Brent, class of 04, who said Marcus Mariota, which is, I mean, if I got to say, that's who I would say. There's an entire generation of fans who grew up Oregon fans because of Marcus Mariota.
Really good player, maybe iconic in Oregon.
Yeah.
Yeah. David Edmond said, doesn't like that OB is slandering Tim Tebow.
I'm not slandering. Is it slander if you just point out the truth? They won that national championship because Oklahoma, which averaged something like 50 points that year, scored 14. That's why they won the national championship. That's not a slander. That's just telling the truth.
What else, Luke?
Christian Ponder.
No.
Yeah, I agree.
I know. Well, here's a couple names on there, but I feel, was Michael Vick in the 90s or was he in the?
It seems like he was the 90s.
Yeah, I don't think that was 2000s.
Yeah, and they said LaDainian Tomlinson and Michael Vick. I think both of those guys were. I think LT came out in like 98.
Yeah, because I know he did because when did Francione get here? 03?
Yeah, yes, 03.
And so he was 2 years at Alabama.
That's right. He had him at TCU. Right
so
before.
maybe he had him TCU for the 2000. He might have had.
Okay.
He might have had LaDainian for 1 year.
LT was pretty damn good. He was
told you
special.
I covered his first game of his senior year in high school.
Waco
University, I think it was.
Midway or was
University?
It University, yeah.
And no one knew him. He'd scored like 6 touchdowns the whole season the previous year. He scored 6 touchdowns that night.
Right.
Against Austin LBJ.
979 sends Charles Woodson.
Charles Woodson was definitely before because he won the
He was
Heisman
98.
Trophy.
Yeah,
was
he was
98.
97, 98.
Yep.
Yeah.
David Edmond, one more for you, OB. It is slander when you say he wasn't the best player on his team. Absolutely. That is slander.
Tebow. Well, Percy Harvin, just go look at what Percy Harvin meant to that offense. I'm not saying Tim Tebow wasn't a great player. I do think he was a great player. I just think he gets overhyped. He was a great player in that offense. That offense was perfect for him.
Yeah. One thing
Hell, the Pouncey twins may have been, if you want to just based on talent at their position, may be better than him.
One thing I definitely give Tim, though, is he had that winner DNA. And I think even with the Broncos, I know they won because of the defense. I know. But he made game-winning plays.
I can remember one. Threw a long pass. Somebody caught it.
I think he had a couple of big runs, too, in that game.
They scored 10 points in that game, if I'm not mistaken. Wasn't the final score like 10-7?
Yeah.
So, well, maybe it's more than that because was it an overtime game? So it had to be a little more than that.
Yeah, it was an overtime game.
So maybe it was 17-10. But it's not like they, it's not like this was an offensive juggernaut.
Trying to see if I can find it.
See, that makes me sound like I don't like Tim Tebow as a player.
Final of the game, 29-23.
Oh, it's 29-23.
Yeah, Tim Tebow.
Did he start and play that whole game? What did he do?
Let's look at these stats, shall we? 10 of 21, 316 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, and a quarterback rating of 96.7 versus Ben Roethlisberger in that game, who had 289 yards passing, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. Tim Tebow was pretty spectacular that game.
Okay. Now go through his career and point out all the other spectacular games.
Game log. There's 9 games he played in. I'm kidding. I see a bunch of L's, but the first game he started, let's see. They won 48. Well, he didn't. Did he throw for anything? He played in that game.
And did he start that game against the Steelers?
Yes, he did.
He did? He played that whole game?
He was the only one.
And he had 10? So we're talking about playing a game of roulette. It was either a big payoff or nothing because he was 10 of 21 for 300 yards.
So what Pittsburgh did, though, was they did not let them run the ball. Willis McGahee only had 61 yards. Tebow had 50 yards rushing and a touchdown. Okay. So he scored 3 touchdowns.
Well, it sounds like, to me, he's one of the greatest quarterbacks in NFL history.
I think we can put him in the Hall now. I think we can.
I'm surprised they haven't.
Obi, thank you, sir.
Hey, Liz Allen, class of 76, saw her coming in out of the grocery store. She this weekend, stopped me and said how much she enjoys our show.
Hey, Liz.
Hi, Liz. Thank you. Thank you for always listening.
Appreciate you, Liz. Thank you very, very much. Thank you, Obi, for sticking around a little bit longer.
You bet.
Open segment when we come back. It's TexAgs Radio.
I'm Chelsea Reber with your community calendar on the Zone. The Brazos Valley Museum of Natural History invites you to join their annual live butterfly release on Saturday, July 22nd from 9 a.m. to noon. Supplies are limited, so call the museum to reserve your spot today. The Mental Health First Aid Program teaches participants how to recognize the signs and symptoms of a possible mental health challenge or substance misuse, de-escalate situations, listen non-judgmentally, and connect people to resources. This free course is offered each month at the Brazos County Health District. From camping to computers, arts to engineering, and service projects to field trips, it's all at Girl Scouts. Learn more at gsctx.org. The Brazos Valley Farmers Market is open in downtown Bryan Saturday mornings from 8 to noon. All produce is grown locally from friends and neighbors you know and trust. Sign up for the Zone All Access newsletter brought to you by Caliber, the wealth development company. Sign up now at zone1150.com. That's your community calendar. I'm Chelsea Reber on The Zone.
I don't want to go to bed at night dreading waking up in the morning knowing that I'm going to feel like a rusty lawn chair getting out of bed and getting opened up and not being able to really move for a couple hours really throughout the day.
For former college and pro football player Bobby Carpenter and those dealing with daily aches and pains, QC Kinetics regenerative pain treatments are a game changer, providing long-lasting relief.
Go into a specific joint, a specific region, and then help promote that healing process using your own body's mechanisms to heal. I mean, that's been something that's pretty powerful, and there's no surgery, there's no downtime.
QC Kinetics natural treatments help the body heal and restore itself. No more rusty lawn chair.
It's no surprise to see people being willing to try this first, especially when it has such great results.
Pain relief the natural way. QC Kinetics. Call today for your complimentary consultation. Find out if you're a good candidate for treatment.
Call QC Kinetics 979-452-6000. That's 979-452-6000. 979-452-6000.
If you own construction equipment, you need preventative maintenance, and WPI has you covered with our new on-site service tech. This is Timothy Cornrup, your local branch manager at WPI. Regardless of your machine's make or model, WPI has the hoses, filters, fluids, and parts you need to keep your equipment running at maximum performance. For the best price in town on preventative maintenance and field service for every brand of construction equipment, put your trust in WPI. Highway 21 East at Marino Road, or click WPI.com.
On the Louis Bellina Show, participation is encouraged and it is rewarded. You can call me each day, Monday through Friday, 11 to 2 at 979-693-1150. You and I can hang out on the Smoothie King hotline, or maybe you're a texter, 979-693-1150. Hit send. I read all your text messages Monday through Friday, 11 to 2, inside the Texas Mobile One Lube Express inbox.
Feel it coming in the air. Hear the screams from everywhere. I'm addicted to the thrill. I'm ready. It's a dangerous love affair. Can't be scared when it goes down. Got a problem? Tell me now. Only thing that's on my mind is
Who's going to run this segment today? TexAgs Radio. That was a cheesy segue. Presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. David Edmond gets personal on the text line. Have you noticed that, Luke?
Yeah, it cuts deep.
Vic played college in 99 and 2000. So if you pick VY over Vic, you need help. Why didn't you just say he was better and leave it at that? Why you got to make it rude? Here's the thing. VY won. That has to count for something. It has to. It has to count for something. I know a lot of people like Ed O, worst coach ever to win a championship or whatever. By winning, it separates you from a pack. That is just the way it works. I don't write the rules. I just follow them. All right? And by the way, I personally thought Vic was more electric, but he didn't win at the same level. You can say it's the school. You can say it's the situation. But to make it such a, like a dagger, we don't need to hear that propaganda here. All right, Dave, you know what? Don't listen anymore. You have officially been blocked from the text line. Done. Not coming back. How you like that, Luke?
Boom.
I don't really block people. I just tell them I block them. But now because he makes it personal and he tries to call it propaganda, and then he'll try to come back and be nice about it. He doesn't have to listen anymore. Trust me, we'll be okay, Dave. We'll be okay with that one listener in Oklahoma. We'll be fine. Go talk about ECNO with somebody else and VY and Hayton, whatever. I support Tim Tebow, by the way. Didn't I just support him?
Yeah, you just defended him.
All right, just making sure we did. That's fine. It's shocking to hear somebody get so mad who's 40-plus years old, constantly texting on the line, griping about everything. No problem. We'll move on without you. It's easy. In fact, I feel better about myself now. I'm really not going to block you, though. You're a nice guy. All right, couple things. When we come back, and we're not going to leave just yet. When we come back, we're going to talk to Bobby Brown. And we tried to chat with him last week at our Lions Cross. We'll get him here on the program. We talked about winning Super Bowl a couple years ago, TP, what he meant to him, and just some thoughts about heading into this year. A lot of people are predicting a big year for Bobby Brown, so we'll do that. I do want to answer this question, pay off this question that was asked on TexAgs.com about relegation. And I want Nick involved, and I also want Luke involved in this one. So let's do this. He's basically asking, David, can you ever envision the NFL relegating the 4 worst teams? And I'm going to give you my quick answer, then I want you guys to chime in. No. The reason, and by the way, I would love it. It won't work. The way ownership first off, the United States public is not used to that. You're not going to spend money on a stadium and on your tickets if your team is playing. If by God forbid the Cowboys, the Houston Texans, the Cincinnati Bengals got relegated to the XFL, you're not going to spend the same kind of money for those seats to go to a game. It's just not the way. It's not in the fabric of our sports in the United States. Would I love to see it? I think the one place it could work, and it probably won't work, but it could work, is in college football, because they do want to set up this, power league, right? Right, this NFL-esque power league with the SEC and the Big Ten, and you got your big, I don't know, call it 20 teams in each, 40 teams in it, right? And then you have your next tier, your Big 12s and your Pac-12s if it's even around. There, I could see it working because I think you're going to still have the same pageantry, no doubt. But I cannot see it working in NFL. Luke, you go.
Yeah, I just don't see it happening. I would love to see soccer and like a relegation format become more popularized in the U.S., but in terms of bringing that to the NFL, definitely not. It just wouldn't work. Too much money involved in the sport, and I don't really see the point. The USFL is a great league, and so is the XFL, but it's not comparable to the NFL.
Nick?
I'm going to be honest with you. I need y'all to explain exactly what a relegation format is. Is that it? Just on context clues, I'm picking up if you finish bad, you're going to get dropped down a league, because I've never heard of this.
Like, let's take the Premier League, right? You got your 16 teams, let's just say, your 20 teams. All right, the final 4 teams, like the last 4 place teams, go down in a division.
Okay.
And the top teams move up in a division, and that's how there's constant up and down. So what your NFL could look like will be different in the next year.
Yeah, I mean, I could only see that, like you said.
So just imagine the XFL.
With college, not. I think the only way it would work would be with college football, just because there are so many, Division I programs. Like, I don't think it would even register on the radar which teams moved up and down and whatnot. So, but I guess if it were going to be any of the sports, it'd be college football.
Yeah, I can see it working in college sports, and I don't know if it would work, but I can see it working there. I cannot see it working in any of the American professional sports outside of maybe the MLS, and they don't want to do it either.
Agreed.
So, all right, let's hit a break. When we come back on TexAgs Radio, we're going to talk to Bobby Brown here from the Rams, get his thoughts on all things going on in his career, and also reflect a little bit on the life of Terry Price, that and much, much more. But right now we're talking Heritage Films. Last week, I got my video back on my daughter, Annalise. Such a cool video. Awesome. For those who don't know, Chance not only does these documentaries about families and about like the patriarch of your family, he's now doing these benchmark videos for your kids, right? So Annalise is 12 years old. She's my middle child. And he got her to go to his studio, interviewed her, this 20-minute video, get to know Annalise kind of thing, where she is at this point in her life. Asked her questions about, how middle school's gone, how sports are going, how her friends, some actual stories, getting some pictures, some videos kind of involved. And now we have this 20-minute benchmark video about where Annalise is in life right now. And then in a couple of years, we'll follow it up, and, she'll be in high school and how things have changed, how certain things are the same, how she's grown mentally, physically, all that good stuff, right? These are benchmark videos that Chance is doing for families, and they're awesome. I can highly recommend it. I've showed a clip of it. I'll do it again at some point, of the one he did of my daughter. But then there's also the Heritage Films video that he does. And those are just off the chain for families, right? Like, you want to honor your dad, your grandfather, tell his documentary, tell his story in a Netflix-style doc. That's what you do, right? 2-hour documentary done about your family. It's awesome. Chance does it all. Very creative. He'll shoot it. He'll edit it. He'll put it all together. In 8 to 10 weeks, you'll have that video done for you and your family. The website is yourheritagefilm.com, yourheritagefilm.com, 713-893-8341, 713-893-8341.
David and OB.
I can kill to get mad.
David and OB on TexAgs Radio.
Now bust this guy's teeth out.
Does your bank know your first name? At Normandy State Bank, they do. Normandy State Bank is locally owned, controlled, and operated. This local personal touch means banking decisions are made on site the same day you request it. Normandy State makes banking easy. They're open Saturdays, offer state-of-the-art online banking, bill paying, fund transfers, check and statement images. Normandy State, where customer service is their priority. Normandy State Bank, rock solid. Member FDIC.
We're here with Jackson Rollo from Rollo Insurance. And Jackson, you guys have been around for a long time. You're the very best at what you do. But I ask you, why Rollo Insurance?
Well, we've been growing recently with over 45 offices in multiple states. But we haven't lost who we are. We're still super focused on being hyper-local and involved in the communities in which you're going to find a Rollo Insurance office. And we offer products like home, auto, life, health, and business insurance from some of the top carriers in our industry.
You name it, they do it. Visit RolloInsurance.com. David Nuño here to talk about how much I love Legacy Workspaces, located in the heart of College Station on Longmire. Let me tell you something. Big box office spaces done, finish, done. Legacy Workspaces is leading the way in modern, affordable, impressive officing. So many great amenities like reserved parking, free office supplies on demand, impressive conference rooms to host your clients, and some of the best coffee in town. Ay que rico, repeatedly voted best of the Brazos Valley. Visit LegacyWorkspaces.com and leave your legacy today.
Mornings were made for better things than rheumatoid arthritis or RA. Xeljanz tofacitinib is a pill for adults with moderate to severe RA when tumor necrosis factor blockers did not work well or could not be tolerated. Xeljanz can help relieve joint pain, swelling, and help stop further joint damage. Xeljanz can lower your ability to fight infections. Don't start if you have one. Before and during treatment, your doctor should check for infections like TB and do blood tests. Serious, sometimes fatal infections, cancers including lymphoma and lung, blood clots, serious heart-related events, tears in the stomach or intestines, and allergic reactions have happened. People 50 and older with heart disease risk factors have an increased risk of death. Tell your doctor if you've had hepatitis B or C, have flu-like symptoms, are prone to infections, or have ever had a heart attack, stroke, clot, or other heart problems, or swelling of lips, tongue, throat, or hives. Ask your doctor about prescription Xeljanz. Visit Xeljanz.com or call 1-844-XELJANZ.
Looking for the Zone prize rules? Would you like to apply for a job at the Zone? Or need a phone number or email for the Zone? Visit Zone1150.com. Would you like to sign up for the Zone All Access newsletter? Looking for podcasts of TexAgs Radio, The Louis Bellina Show, or Chip Howard? Or would you like to see the Zone's daily schedule? Visit Zone1150.com. For more information, any questions, to contact us for everything and anything about the Zone, visit Zone1150.com.
We are tap dancing here on TexAgs Radio, trying to figure out if we're going to get Bobby Brown on the program or not. It's all right. We got a lot of text messages, and it's stuff to talk about. We're in a good place when it comes to A&M recruiting, so we can get into that. Obviously, I am really looking forward to at the end of next week, not the drive. I'm driving to Colorado at the end of next week, which is not ideal. But I'm flying from Colorado to Nashville because we're going to have SEC Media Days. So we'll actually get there a week from Sunday, and then it's just going to be a full, strong week of great guests, conversation, and interviews, and you name it. It's going to be fun. So we'll be doing that here on TexAgs Radio. We've had a lot of topics throughout the program today. We talked about the most iconic players. Many of you are weighing in on that. You can do that on the AMB text line, 979-693-1150. We've had some movie talk come up because Luke mentioned that he watched The Godfather for the first time last week. And I think the response was he really liked it, but not great because it wasn't action-packed.
Yeah, just a different kind of movie from what myself and my generation are used to. But I still can appreciate greatness when I see it.
Do you appreciate the character arcs, the development?
Yes, I really did enjoy seeing everyone get whacked in a different way each time.
Okay.
I don't know if I would characterize that as character development, more like character.
Well, Michael Corleone's character.
Yeah.
He went from, the military base, kind of quiet son. He stayed quiet, but, he kind of took over, and everybody thought, that Sonny was going to end up being the guy. And then Fredo obviously thought he got passed, but he didn't have the personality for it. Michael had that leadership, that sinister mind that put him on top, and you really saw that kind of develop throughout the movie.
Yeah. And speaking of character development, Another great movie is The Dark Knight. John from San Antonio said The Dark Knight was great, almost all due to Heath, but they tried to do way too much in The Dark Knight Rises. That movie was too crowded. Sometimes simpler is better. Ended on a bad note. David, what do you think about that? It's one of your all-time favorite movies.
Dark Knight Rises is not one of my all-time favorites.
Just
the trilogy itself, I think, is a phenomenal trilogy. I agree with you that I actually liked the ending of The Dark Knight Rises. I thought they tied it all together nicely. But you're 100% a little too crowded, a little too simple of a script, in my opinion. Christopher Nolan movies typically they have these left turns, and the Talia kind of reveal at the end was a little bit of a left turn. But I still think that movie was a little too simple. It's crowded, and also how maybe it's been too many years since I've watched it because I haven't watched The Dark Knight Rises in years. But when they sent him to Lazarus Pit, is that in another country or is that down in Gotham? Because he sure got to Gotham pretty quickly.
I have no idea.
You know what Lazarus Pit is?
It's been a while since I've seen those movies, but I think I have.
Basically, when he climbed out of the little hole.
Okay.
Yeah, when he climbed out of the little hole, how did he get back to Gotham so easily? And why wasn't the military involved? They weren't really involved. They stayed away. Okay, we're gonna listen to you, terrorists. You don't negotiate with terrorists. There's a lot to that movie that had issues. But I do agree that, to me, the best of the three is Batman Begins. Nobody agrees with me. I'm by myself there. I think the best acting is The Dark Knight, and The Dark Knight Rises a little bit kind of corny at times, but as a 3-part, I liked it.
That's valid, for sure.
What else we have?
So Matt in San Antonio is going back to the discussion we had about most iconic players. He says, in your view, do you think there is a distinction between most iconic players and best players? And the reason he asked that is because even if you agree with the premise that Tebow wasn't the best player on that Florida Gators team, the first person you think of when you think of those teams is Tim Tebow.
I think that is well said. All right, so look, it's a sports talk show, so you can make it whatever you want. It doesn't have to be the best player, the most iconic player, which is why Johnny, to me, not only was he the best player, or you could argue that Mike was the best player, sure, but Johnny is iconic when we talk about that era of A&M football. It is Tim Tebow that we talk about when we talk about that era of Florida football, regardless if he won that first championship as a tight end or as a backup quarterback or whatever, right? It is Chris Leak who won that first one. It is Tim Tebow you think of that era. When you think of Clemson football, do you think of Deshaun or Trevor Lawrence? Those are two different kind of moments in their history. I think of Deshaun personally, maybe because he went to the Texans and had such a stormy end there. But when you think about the University of Texas, that team was loaded. It is VY you think about. Who am I leaving out here?
Well, I think a good example of most iconic versus best would be RG3. I think everyone agrees RG3 is not a top 5 player in the last 20 years. But for my generation of college football fans, he was the first quarterback that I think a lot of people fell in love with, that I would say I fell in love with watching. You just remember iconic games playing TCU, and it's 63-61, and it's nonstop action.
You can be both, though, right? So, for instance, Joe Burrow, iconic and best.
Yeah, there's an entire generation, I think, of new college football fans who, for them, it's Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson. But for my generation, it was RG3, Corey Coleman, just incredible football. And it also helped that RG3 was on the video game, one of the last NCAA 13 video games. And so a lot of people that still have not seen him play get to play him on that video game. And he was like the Marcus Mariota, Johnny Manziel before their time.
Is Baker, because I know it's not cool to talk about Baker, but is Baker considered iconic?
The swagger that he played with, planting the Ohio State, the flag on the Ohio State logo, he played with a different kind of swagger. And so I personally you love to hate him and you hate to love him kind of deal with Baker. So I love to watch Baker, but also sometimes I hate him anytime he does something that's too crazy. But I know there are a lot of fans out there that just love the kind of unrivaled swagger, and he doesn't care what other people think that Baker plays with. Now, it does get him in trouble with the whole thing he did against Kansas, but you can't deny that he captivated a lot of people.
And for some reason, he is compared to Johnny a lot, and and he had a better start to his NFL career, or he's had a better NFL career. And I think that's why sometimes it is soured here at A&M when people talk about Baker, but he was iconic for his time. And to me, Reggie Bush is who you talk about from that USC team. From that USC era, it is Reggie Bush. It is his highlights, his ability to go from one side of the field to the next. The fact that he didn't get the ball at the end of the game against Texas in the Rose Bowl. Like there are several reasons Reggie, and because of the scandal that all came out afterwards, right? To me, he is the most iconic player of that era, no doubt.
Yeah, he was a little bit before my time, but from anything I hear, like my mom loved watching Reggie Bush, and so that was before I became a big college football fan. But the fact that his name still carries a bunch of weight and people are talking about him after, and of course the scandal that happened with the whole Heisman Trophy, I would definitely put him up there in my top 5 of most iconic players. Even though I didn't get to witness his prime, YouTube is readily available and those highlights are incredible. And the fact that his name still carries so much weight nearly 20 years later, I would definitely put him in my top 5.
From that list, though, from the most iconic, the best season, it's got to belong to Joe Burrow, right?
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Although it is, like, we forget the year that Cam had. Like, that was an amazing season, right? Like, we sometimes forget about it. But I think from just the numbers that LSU was able to put up in that year and just the way Joe was, like, the architect of all that. And it really started the season prior after the A&M lost the 7 overtime game, right? Like, that's where Joe Burrow kind of became a different quarterback in the way we looked at him.
Yeah, anytime you are a great player, you're going to get recognition. But when you're thrown in with the best offense, probably, I don't want to say of all time, but the fact that LSU in 2019 can even be put in that discussion shows you what a great player Joe Burrow was. And like I said earlier, there's an entire generation of college football fans who, like, their first quarterback that they loved watching was Joe Burrow and with the offense that he had. So I would completely agree. You can make a case for most iconic and best player for this, I guess we're calling it 2 decades.
So I'm going to read this one from J84 on the A&B text line. Why does OB hate Tim Tebow? And I don't think you read that one already because I know somebody else had texted about that same topic. I'll say this. Opinions don't mean hate, right? Like, at least it doesn't when I'm talking about something, and I don't think with OB either, right? You can have a strong opinion that somebody is not as good as the other person. Doesn't mean you don't like the person. I know a lot of times people think that's the same thing. Like, oh, you don't think VY is the best? Yeah, you must hate. No, not necessarily. We all have our own metrics for what we believe and what we don't believe. And look, Thomas and DFW, Vince Young was great. He also had the top 10 defense in the team sports. Some of the other people on your list didn't have the benefit of a top 10 defense that could and did bail them out of some games on their way to a championship. No doubt about it. But how do you perform in the most critical moments? When we think about Johnny, I mean, sure, there's the money thing, there's, some amazing moments, but how did he perform at the end of the Bama game, right? How did he perform at the end of the Duke game, right? How did he perform in the games that mattered most? I think that goes into it. How did VY perform in the national championship game? This is what goes into these conversations when we start remembering. Like, when I remember Tim Tebow, I don't remember him struggling in games the way some other people do. I remember him in that playoff game playing amazing. I had to go back and look at the stats to kind of back up what I was thinking, but, like, how did he play? I think Tim Tebow was, you bring in Peyton Manning, of course, Tim Tebow's not going to be your starter. Like, that's duh. Like, why would he be? But when we talk about from his college football perspective and really that NFL playoff game, I think about those moments. All right, let's hit a break here. When we come back, we're going to do a little Around Aggieland. That and more. It's TexAgs Radio.
I'm Chelsea Reber with your community calendar on The Zone. Registration is now open for the Arts Council of Brazos Valley Youth Summer Camps program. 18 art classes will be offered over an 8-week period for ages 6 to 18. Visit acbv.org for more information and to sign up. The next Bush Library movie night is Friday, August 11th, featuring Little Giants. Games and snacks begin at 7. The movie starts at sundown. Big Brothers Big Sisters has openings in their mentorship program and wants more kids to join. Children ages 6 to 16 can apply to enroll in the program and can stay matched up to age 21. More information is online at bbbsbrazos.org. The Gardens at Texas A&M offer a variety of volunteer opportunities. Visit gardens.tamu.edu/volunteers to learn more. You can hear Houston Astros baseball all summer long on The Zone and select games on Gospel 97.3 FM thanks to Kelly Burtdozer. That's your community calendar. I'm Chelsea Reber on The Zone.
Are you feeling run down, sluggish, having difficulty losing weight? You could have low testosterone. It's common. In fact, about 40% of men have low T after age 40. Apex Health in College Station is here to restore your energy, sharpen your focus, and boost your performance. Women can also benefit from testosterone replacement therapy. For a limited time at Apex Health, get your T-test for just $35. Get your edge back with a personalized health plan from Apex Health. Schedule your free consultation today at apexhealthclinic.com.
Since 1957, Slovakic Sausage in Snook has been making the best tasting sausage in Texas from the same family recipe. Slovakic, the official sausage of Texas A&M Athletics. Whether it's from the grill to the family gathering or from the pit to the neighborhood party, serve the sausage voted best in the Brazos Valley. Serve Slovakic. Be sure to come in and check out their full-service meat market, relax on the front porch, or grab some fresh kolaches from their bakery on your way out. Slovakic Sausage, Highway 60 in Snook.
Question: would you pick a chain barbecue place over a hometown joint? Do you root for East Coast universities instead of the local team? Nah, then why choose a big Wall Street bank? A&B started in 1892. 5 generations later, we're still owned and operated by the same Texas family. We support this community. We value your privacy. We make quick decisions, and we hate red tape. We answer to you, not Wall Street. Bank with A&B. Family owned, Texas proud. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Sign up now for the Zone All Access newsletter, brought to you by Caliber, the wealth development company. Want to know what guests are coming on the show and when? Want to know the contests, the events, and what's going on with the Zone 1150 AM and 93.7 FM? Sign up for the Zone All Access newsletter at zone1150.com. You can call Caliber to learn how you can invest in commercial real estate right here in Bryan College Station that supports the community while producing real returns for investors. The Zone All Access newsletter. Sign up today.
Well, every time I turn around, a man's trying to get me down. I just can't see your face. I'm blinded by the sun, living on the run, and I can't remember this place. Won't you take me to the other side?
Let's take it to the other side. Because in the next segment, Ryan Broniger is going to be here to talk a little recruiting. But we're going to give you a little bit of recruiting here on Around Aggieland. You're listening to TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers in the Rollo Insurance Studio. And actually, I'm thinking this Monday. We don't have Around Aggieland today. But you can still give us some updates.
Yeah, absolutely. So a celebration of life service will be held for Terry Price on Saturday, July 8th at Central Baptist Church in College Station. And the Texas A&M family would like to welcome everyone to help be with Terry's family and celebrate his life. And visitation begins at 9 a.m. with the service set to start at 11 a.m.
Yep. Hopefully many of you can be out there and pay your respects. If you've been on social media over the last week, you've seen the outpour of love for TP, just from so many former players and people that he came across, people in the community. Just a wonderful, wonderful man. He's going to be missed. Luke?
Yeah, absolutely. So bringing it over to baseball, we didn't get to talk about this earlier, but Charlie Pagliarini is the newest transfer. He's a third baseman from Fairfield, and he was the 2023 MAAC Player of the Year, batting almost 400 and had 24 home runs. What an Italian name, Charlie Pagliarini.
Pagliarini. I don't mean that
Pagliarini.
Like Pagliarini. It just comes out that way. Pagliarini.
He could be in The Godfather.
He could be an awesome player for Texas A&M baseball.
Absolutely, I hope so. Replacing the cannon we got over there, Trevor Werner. Who, by the way, Trevor Werner, the third baseman, he was the Cape Cod Baseball League Player of the Week this week. He had a great week, 6 games, and I think he had a couple home runs. He was by far the best player on the Brewster Whitecaps.
He could have been our Apex Player of the Week.
Yeah, he could have been. Too bad Jace and Jameer Johnson had to go and win the USFL championship.
All right, what else do we have, Luke?
So we talked about Wildens Levesque, big-time transfer, 6'11" center coming over from UMass. He played in South Carolina before that, so he's familiar with the SEC, averaging about 5 to 6 points every season. But his most impressive stat is that he shoots 75% from the free throw line, which, by the way, A&M, great free throw shooting team. He's going to work in really well here.
Do you remember the 21-22 season, how there was a big part of the season where they struggled from the offensive, from the free throw line, not offensive line.
I remember it very well.
And a lot of that roster is still on the team. They worked on it, and that became their strength last year, which is why I always thought that Penn State game was a little crazy, because before we got into that game, one of my thinking points was they don't foul. And A&M loves to win games by going to the free throw line. Well, here's another guy that you don't have a liability, somebody you can hit 3 or 4 from the line. We'll take that.
Absolutely, all day. And then obviously we hit on it. What a weekend in recruiting. Just in the last 5 days alone, Ty Anthony Smith, Jalen Hornsby, Cam Coleman, incredible additions to this class. Billy hit on it earlier, just the amount of momentum that we're working with has not been seen since that historic 2022 class. And yeah, it's really exciting for the future of this team, and the wide receiver room that we should have in 2024 is going to be absolutely incredible.
So Billy did hit on the fact that he is going to be similar to kind of Evan Stewart, not necessarily the way he plays, but like that kind of production we can potentially expect his freshman year. But he's also bigger. This guy's 6'3". Evan is 6 feet, right? 6 feet, 185 probably, something in that range, 180.
Yeah.
This young man, Cam Coleman, is 6'3", 180, long player. And if he has any, like, you think about where Evan's going to be in year 3, where Noah's going to be in year 3, where some of the guys from this year's class to next year's class, that is going to be a loaded wide receiver group. We obviously worry about what life's going to look like without Anaya Smith at some point, right? Well, the replacements are certainly coming in. All right, so we'll do this. Do you have anything else, Luke?
It was a great 4th of July. That's all I've got.
With your hot dog shirt?
Oh, I'm wearing a hot dog shirt? I didn't even know.
No, you didn't even know.
Yeah.
No. By the way, I watched last night, so we did some fireworks in the backyard. We'll watch some fireworks. I watched the movie The Covenant. Pretty good.
I've never watched it before, but I will put it on my list.
Jake Gyllenhaal, really good.
What's like the premise?
The premise is he's at war in Afghanistan. His interpreter kind of saves the day, saves him, and he has to go back and save the interpreter later. It's a really good movie. Really good movie.
Thank you for the spoiler alert, but
that's what's in the trailer.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, I didn't tell you anything. I didn't tell you that they both lose their head at the end of the movie. I didn't tell you that.
All right, now I don't know if I want to watch it.
I didn't say that. Did it happen or not? When we come back on TexAgs Radio here on a Wednesday, Ryan Broniger, Recruiting Country, presented by Caprock Health System. We'll have that. We'll get to your text messages and much, much more. You're listening to TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers.
You can hear Houston Astros baseball all season, all postseason long on the Zone, 1150 AM and 93.7 FM, and select games on Gospel, 97.3 FM. Astros baseball brought to you by Kelly Burt Dozer. All season long, Houston Astros baseball on the Zone and select games on Gospel, 97.3 FM. Astros baseball brought to you by Kelly Burt Dozer.
The NLS Braille and Audio Reading Download Service gives patrons with visual impairments or physical limitations the freedom to read their way.
Barge is this beautiful web-based program for searching for books and for the ability to download them.
It's a great way to have a book with you without carrying a book.
For information about the National Library Service for the Blind and Physically Handicapped Library of Congress, visit loc.gov/thatallmayread.
Paul Feinbaum is SEC country, and Aggieland is too. Listen in to Paul weekday afternoons 2 to 4 on the Zone 1150 AM and 93.7 FM. This is KZNE, College Station Bryan.
From WTAW, I'm Chelsea Reber with a news update on the Zone. East of downtown Bryan Monday morning, just before 5 a.m., Bryan police respond to a citizen's report of 3 people attempting to break into vehicles. That led to the arrest of 2 16-year-olds and a 17-year-old on multiple charges. All 3 were charged with 5 vehicle burglaries, 7 attempted burglaries, unlawful carrying of weapons, evading officers, and violating parole. A 32-year-old College Station man is in the Brazos County Jail for the 5th time in the last 6 weeks and the 16th time since December 2008. That's after College Station police responded Sunday morning at 9:30 to a report of a vehicle that was parked the wrong way and the driver slumped over the wheel. Marcus Gomez was arrested after leading officers on a foot chase through the intersection of Texas and Holloman on charges of evading and possession of methamphetamine. Is your company willing to hire persons with a criminal record?
A person is really just looking for a chance.
Nathan Wood is the chief public defender at the newly created Brazos County Public Defender's Office. He says they're looking to establish a list of employers willing to hire their clients if they would otherwise qualify for the job.
Because a lot of the time, what pushes repeat offenders toward that recidivism to offend again is a sense of hopelessness for their future, a sense of lack of opportunity to meet their immediate needs and the immediate needs of their family.
Wood invites interested companies to call the Public Defender's Office. A state honor is given to a more than 25-year employee at the Bryan College Station Chamber of Commerce. Royce Hickman is this year's recipient of the Texas Chamber of Commerce Executives Award for Career Accomplishments. Hickman is in his 7th year as the BCS Chamber's community liaison. That follows more than 19 years as Chamber President and CEO. From the BCS Chamber's LinkedIn page, the Marvin Hurley Award is the highest honor of the Texas Chamber industry. I'm Chelsea